welcome to Access, the show that gives you an inside look at the hottest happenings on PlayStation. This week, we pick out the best news in our PlayStation briefing, eat copious amounts of sushi as we check out the lineup at this year's Tokyo Game Show, and interview the cast of Hoodies vs Aliens flick Attack the Block. But first, ready yourself for some harder than hardcore dragon slaying with our Monster Hard game of the week. It's Dark Souls. Yeah, alright, we know Dark Souls' big attraction is that it's harder than diamond-reinforced kryptonite, but did they have to make the game's opening so unremittingly bleak? Whereas most fantasy yarns start you off in the land of happy hills and rainbows, Dark Souls plonks you in a cell in the cheerily named Undead Asylum. So immediately you're thinking death and madness and please mummy, can't I just play Cars 2 instead? Well, suck it up, Sonny, because that's not all. Your character is dead. Yep, developers from Software have saved you the bother of getting your head stoved in and cast you as a corpse from the outset. Beginners you mean to go on, eh? That's not the end of the story, of course, and it's not long before your heroic zombie warrior springs his cell and sets about restoring his lost humanity, which it turns out is actually a collectible item. Harvested from defeated enemies, humanity lets you singe the pretty flesh back onto your face at one of the game's many bonfires, handily placed healing points that also allow you to level up, restore your life juices, and generally give you a respite from all the constant dying. Because, let's be frank, you'll be dying lots, in myriad fantastical ways. Here are some of our favourites: being happy stabbed by gangs of zombie chavs, being cursed by the blood-spattered innards of boggle-eyed frog things, and being clobbered by the fiery limbs of a monster called Ceaseless Discharge. Oh, no wonder it looks so angry. There are creams for that, mate. Happily, Dark Souls difficulty rarely induces fits of dual-shock smashing rage, a point that producer Daisuke Uchiyama was keen to emphasise when we caught up with him in Tokyo.
We've balanced the game and put a lot of emphasis on tuning, so that every time the player dies, they'll find new directions, new methods and new strategies that they'll want to try out just one more time in order to overcome the difficulties in the game. Hopefully that fine-tuned balance will get players to retry, to come back and face the challenges again and again.
Difficult or no, there's simply no escaping Dark Souls' seductive brilliance. The world shimmers with a haunting beauty, and watching a dragon glide off into the sunset is as breathtaking as it is terrifying. The harsh penalties for failure, you'll lose all your souls and get dumped back at your last resting point, means every encounter is drenched in sweaty tension, but also means victory tastes all the sweeter when it finally arrives. If you reckon you're up for the challenge, or if you're a masochist, Dark Souls is available from October the 7th. Prepare to die indeed. Time now for your PlayStation briefing, a 90-second harvest of the current news crop. E3 and Gamescom? Ha! Who needs them? Game Fest is where it's at these days, a 3-day exhibition in Birmingham's NEC filled with purring cat ladies, bouncy racing chairs, and of course more new games than you can shake a PlayStation Move motion controller at. Playable on the show floor were FPS heavy hitters Battlefield 3 and Modern Warfare 3, while over at the PlayStation Access booth, PS3 hungry gamers queued up for some quality time with a certain Mr. Drake.
I think Game Fest is a good way to find out what new games are going to be like.
All the games that I've wanted to see have been here, so this is the main one that I want to see and try it through.
Rage was brilliant. Never played anything like that.
And speaking of Rage, if End Days Earth is anything like it is in the upcoming first-person shooter, then bring on the asteroids. We're totally up for thundering through canyons on souped-up quad bikes and making friends with festering rock-faced mutants. And if friends doesn't work out, you can rearrange their handsome features with some post-civilization Botox, or a shotgun, as it's more commonly known. id Software's Tasty Apocalypse is in stores this Friday. Good news if you've ever fancied strapping on the MMO spandex. The barrier to entry has been well and truly kapowed as DC Universe Online has gone free to play. Yep, from next month you can wear your pants outside your trousers and you won't even have to pay for it. Bonk! That was your PlayStation briefing. We'll be back with more news next week. Welcome to On The Store, the part of the show where we pick out the best of PS3's online goodies. Not explored the delights of Borderlands' cel-shaded post-apocalypse? Well, now you've got no excuse, as the Borderlands Game of the Year edition is coming to PSN, and with a dirt cheap price tag too. With a ton of DLC thrown into boot, that's a crazy amount of bang for your buck. How crazy? That crazy. Also available to download are this pair of spruced up Resident Evil titles. Resident Evil 5 Gold Edition sees Chris Impossible Biceps Redfield sweating through the African scrub while punching holes in infected zombie folk. Ugh, what on earth did you eat? Resident Evil Code Veronica, on the other hand, is an HD'd up re-release of a PS2 survival horror gem. Making our malnourished trigger finger do a happy dance this week is the Battlefield 3 open beta, live on the store right now. The beta sees you ripping bullet-shaped holes in Paris's Operation Metro map, so get shooting, folks. Also worth checking out is Divine Landscape Moulder from Dust, a plenty playable god sim which lets you slurp up earth, lava and water like an elemental milkshake. Molten flavour. That's all for the store for now. Happy downloading and we'll see you next week. Movie time now as we look at the Blu-ray release of Alien Estate 'em Up Attack the Block. This smart British sci-fi sees a pack of stealthy gorilla dog ETs with giant teeth invade a South London council block, not counting on the resourcefulness and colourful language of the youths inside.
Right now, I feel like going home, locking my door and playing FIFA.
Speaking of games, we caught up with the boys from the block and asked them what they thought were the scariest monsters on PlayStation.
Oh, you know what I saw? You know Resident Evil?
Yeah,
you know Resident Evil? You know the man with the chainsaw and the thing round his head? He was serious. I had a sniper trying to snap his eye. Yeah. It was hitting his eye and he was still running at me.
The film is full of spot-on games references and PlayStation influences, so we got director Joe Cornish's simple take on what Attack the Block the game would be like.
I think it would be a game involving kids with fireworks, samurai swords, mopeds and BMXs fighting off aliens in a tower block. What else do you need?
But the guys were more ambitious.
Third person, yeah, because we can't have a first person.
It'd be like, I think,
action adventure.
Yeah, and also it'd be sandbox formatted. So you don't just have to play through the story, you can go and do other stuff, like you can just go and just fight people.
Objectives
like
and that
free
for
roaming that as well, just to, like,
objectives for Margaret, help her take her cat out the tree.
Yeah,
all
get a little get a little penny to buy a new firework.
Quite sweet, really, aren't they?
Attack the Block is out on Blu-ray right now, and it is well worth checking out, fam. Get me, believe, etc.
This is safe. Good luck.
Konnichiwa everybody and welcome to Access All Areas, where this week we're off to Japan for this year's Tokyo Game Show. In between dodging furry mascots and waving at the cutesy booth babes, we got our grubby Gaijin mitts on the likes of Final Fantasy 13-2, Street Fighter Cross Tekken and a Japanese version of Uncharted 3. But it wasn't all dancing girls and wallet-mugging merchandise. Away from the show floor, we dropped in on Namco Bandai's impressive headquarters. They have a waterfall, people, and spoke to the crew about their upcoming lineup.
Soul Calibur 5 is set 17 years after Soul Calibur 4. We did this so we could make a big difference in the story, gameplay and graphics.
We also bumped into Katsuhiro Harada, the master behind the face-smashing Tekken series, who had a few choice words for his Street Fighter rival, Yoshinori Ono.
Ono, we've crossed paths before, and just when I'm about to win, you cheat. Well, I've got something special planned for you next time, Ono. I'm coming for you!
Next up, we snuck into Team Ninja's swanky evening event, where we heard all about Super Stabby sequel, Ninja Gaiden 3.
So you can see from the hard mode that even the developers have trouble playing the game, so the challenge is definitely back. We have not nerfed Ninja Gaiden.
To finish our Oriental adventure, we boarded the PlayStation boat for a jaunt around Tokyo Bay, where we got some precious hands-on time with Vita titles like Uncharted Golden Abyss and Reality Fighters. Sayonara, Tokyo. We'll see you same time next year. Before we head off, let us leave you with this nerd-tastic movie reference found in mind-mangling chase-em-up Driver San Francisco. Purchase the DeLorean, yes, the car from Back to the Future, hit that magic 88 miles per hour, and you'll be whizzed back in time to this infuriating challenge from the very first Driver game. We did it perfectly on the first go, honest. We just forgot to press record. That's all for this week, but for more access, head on over to facebook.com/PlayStation Access or give this convenient QR code a quick scan. We'll see you next week.